Every 90 seconds, another man loses his ability to get hard, not because of age, but because his blood has stopped reaching where it matters. Let that sink in. Your arteries down there are shrinking right now. Every time you sit too long, every time your hips lock up, every time you say, "I'm just tired." The truth is brutal. You can't feel alive if your blood can't flow. That's why men wake up softer, weaker, slower, and think it's just getting older. But it's not. It's a blockage. And the fix doesn't come from pills or machines. It comes from 5 minutes of the right stretch, the one that reopens your pelvic gates and floods your manhood with life again. If your hips are tight, your blood is trapped. Simple as that. Every time you sit for hours, drive long distances, or slouch on the couch, you compress the very arteries that feed your erection. Imagine bending a water hose. No matter how strong the pressure, nothing flows through. The frog opening unbends that hose. It targets the inner thighs, hip capsule, and the deep pelvic floor muscles, the same group that regulates inflow and outflow. Unlock them, and you reopen the gate to vitality. How to do it? Kneel on the floor with knees wide, shins parallel, feet turned slightly outward. Plant your forearms, lengthen your spine, and keep your ribs stacked over your pelvis. Now glide your hips back until a firm inner thigh stretch arrives. Do not chase pain, chase release. Breathe like this. Inhale through the nose for 5 seconds, filling the belly and lower ribs. Exhale through the mouth for 5 seconds, letting the hips melt a centimeter deeper. That is 1 circulation cycle. Complete 6 to 8 cycles. Total time about 1 minute. 2 common mistakes ruin the effect. First, collapsing the lower back. When the spine sags, the stretch leaves the target and your joints take the stress. Fix it by gently tucking your tailbone and bracing the low belly like you are zipping tight jeans. Second, breath holding. Holding your breath clamps blood vessels. Keep the air moving so oxygen can ride the pressure wave into the pelvis. What should you feel? After 30 to 40 seconds, warmth spreads across the groin and the base of the pelvis. A subtle pulse may appear between the legs. Tingling down the inner thighs is normal. If you feel pinching in the knee, bring your hips forward a touch and pad under the knees. Beginner tweak. Bring the knees slightly closer, support the chest on a cushion, and shorten the range. Advanced tweak. Widen the stance, place a yoga block under each knee, and add a gentle isometric squeeze by pulling the floor inward for 3 seconds, then releasing for 5. Do it once daily, ideally in the evening after a long sit or a drive. When you stand up, notice lighter hips, easier breathing, and a calmer nervous system. Within days, that freedom travels downward, where it matters most. This is not magic, it is circulation. Open the gate, and your body remembers how to send power where you need it. If you want extra drive, finish with 10 pelvic floor breaths. On each inhale, relax the perineum. On each exhale, gently draw it upward as if lifting a marble. Keep the shoulders calm, never push through sharp pain, ease off, reset, each time. Opening the gate is only half the battle. Now we need to push the blood through, to turn passive flow into active pressure. That's what the seated pelvic tilt does. It teaches your body to pulse blood, not just let it drift. Most men never move their pelvis. They move arms and legs, but not the hinge that controls below the belt. And over time, that forgotten motion weakens the pump that keeps erections firm. Sit tall on the edge of a chair, knees at 90 degrees, feet flat and hip width apart. Inhale and tilt the pelvis forward. Imagine your belt buckle pointing slightly up. Your lower back will arch, your chest will open. Exhale and roll the pelvis backward. Imagine the buckle curling toward your belly button, your tailbone tucking under you. That's 1 rep. Move slowly, smoothly, like a wave through your spine. Breathe with rhythm. 5 seconds forward, 5 seconds back. Complete 10 reps, 1 minute. The motion begins deep behind the pubic bone. not in the ribs. At first, you may feel little. After a few rounds, the warmth builds. That warmth isn't just comfort, it's circulation being pumped by your own muscles. Each tilt compresses the pelvic floor, pushing blood into erectile tissue, then releasing it like a heartbeat. Most men's pelvic floors are either too weak or stuck in a clench. This gentle rocking re-teaches balance, contraction, and relaxation. When the body remembers that rhythm, blood stays where it should, longer. Common mistake, moving from the chest instead of the hips. Keep the sternum quiet and let the pelvis lead. Another mistake, squeezing the glutes hard. Let the butt stay soft. The work comes from the deep, low belly and the floor of the pelvis. Beginner support. Sit on a folded towel to tilt the pelvis slightly forward. If your lower back is sensitive, reduce the range to 2 or 3 centimeters and keep the breath steady. If your hip flexors grip, place a small pillow between the knees and hug lightly on the exhale. Advanced tweak. Add a gentle Kegel at the back of each tilt. As you roll backward, lightly draw the muscles between the testicles and the anus upward. Hold 2 seconds, then release as you roll forward. That connection multiplies pressure inside the erectile chambers. Do this daily, 1 minute morning, 1 minute night. You'll feel more grounded, balanced, and in control of your core. And that control doesn't just change how you move, it changes how you perform. Once the inner pump is restored, the next stretch channels that energy through your chain, from spine to hips to the core of vitality. You've opened the gate, you've restored the pump. Now, it's time to let that energy travel, from the spine, through the hips, all the way down to the core of your masculinity. This movement looks simple, almost too simple, but don't underestimate it. The standing forward fold is one of the oldest forms of circulation reset in human history. Ancient healers used it to drain stagnant energy from the lower back and refill the pelvis with warm, oxygen-rich blood. Here's how to perform it. Stand tall, feet shoulder-width apart, knees slightly soft. Inhale through your nose, lift your arms overhead, and feel your spine lengthen. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, not the waist, and slowly fold forward, keeping your back straight until your hands reach your shins, ankles, or the floor. Let your head hang heavy, crown pointing toward the ground. The key here is surrender. Don't pull, don't strain. Let gravity do the work. Stay in the fold for 30 to 45 seconds. Each deep breath draws blood from the upper body down through the spinal line, decompressing the lower back and rehydrating tissues around the sacrum and pelvic floor. You might feel a pulsing in the hamstrings, a gentle warmth creeping up through your hips, or a light pressure behind the genitals. That's your circulatory system recalibrating itself. Every inhale brings oxygen. Every exhale opens microvessels that were dormant from years of sitting. To come out, bend your knees slightly and roll up slowly, vertebra by vertebra, until your head lifts last. Feel the rush of blood surge upward through your core. That rush is proof that your entire system has just reset. 2 tips. If your back feels tight, place your palms on a chair or countertop and fold halfway. It's just as effective. If you're flexible, deepen the fold by grabbing opposite elbows and gently swaying side to side. This micro movement massages the organs, flushing blood through the lower abdomen and reproductive region. Do this once a day, morning or evening. It releases tension in the back, improves posture, and supercharges pelvic circulation. Men who practice it consistently report better sleep, fewer cramps, and that unmistakable warmth of blood moving freely again. You'll stand taller, breathe easier, and feel more alive. Not because of some miracle, but because your body finally flows the way it was meant to. Now, with the gates open and the flow restored, it's time to bring it all together. 5 minutes. That's all it takes. 3 stretches, 1 simple flow, and your body remembers what it was built to do. When you open the hips, restore the pump, and release the spine, something powerful happens. Blood starts to move like it did decades ago. Warmth returns. Confidence returns. You don't have to hope things work again. You feel them work. No pills, no devices, no quick fixes. Just your body, breathing, moving, reconnecting. Most men spend years chasing solutions outside themselves. But your strength, your vitality, your performance, they've been here all along, waiting behind the tension, behind the stiffness, behind the fear of slowing down. Now that you've turned the flow back on, keep it going. Give your body these 5 minutes each day, because every breath, every stretch, every pulse of blood is a reminder. You are not done. You are rebuilding. You are alive.